Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about building a team and things to look for, things to think about when you're putting together what's definitely going to be your foundation of your organization, of your barbershop, of your business. And through much trial and error over the years, I've kind of learned to navigate this. And whatever you're about to hear is basically my opinion through life experience and through the ups and downs of managing people, dealing with personalities, and putting out fires. So let's get into it. So first thing I want to talk about is, let's just say you paid your dues, you put in some years, and you're ready to pull the trigger and open up your own business, open up your own shop, and you want to staff this shop. And keep in mind, I'm kind of giving this from the perspective of somebody who's going to be in there, like I said, working and getting your hands dirty. You're not going to be one of those owners / managers who's sitting behind a desk and just kind of giving orders. You're in there with the team. You guys are working day to day, running the business. All right. So first thing I want to talk about is, should you hire friends? Okay. Many of us who been to barber schools, or maybe you apprentice somewhere, or maybe you worked at a couple shops. You have some barber friends, you have some associates, you have people you talk to and have built with. And is it a good idea to incorporate them into what your next venture? I would say definitely be wise and make sure you pick the right ones. What I would say is definitely have an expectation very, very clear from day one. Okay, you don't want to bring somebody on and then kind of fill them in as time goes, as far as your business structure, your plan, your goals, your vision. And that way you avoid any kind of friction, any kind of surprises. So what I would say when it comes to hiring friends and associates, people who do the same trade as you and want to work for you and work with you, just make sure that you agree on what the expectations are from day one. And if you need to make a list and talk about those things, just make sure you cover every aspect that would be something that they'll be keeping track of and you'll be keeping track of. That way there's no surprises. All right. You can also kind of test the waters in the marketplace. I've never done this really, maybe a few times in the past, where you put an ad out there and you kind of see what kind of applicants you get, what kind of traction you get by officially putting the word out there that you're looking to staff up your business and get some new candidates in place. Sometimes it could be hit or miss. Sometimes it could be where you get blessed, you get lucky, and you get some good candidates. Just make sure that you have a top 5 kind of non-negotiable questions, things that you can ask that will either produce a red flag where hey, this is already not going to be a good fit, or it could be a green check mark. Well, okay, we're seeing eye to eye on these top 5 things that are non-negotiable as far as what I need to be successful bringing new people into the business, into the organization. All right. So you can put it out there in the marketplace, see what kind of hits you get, see what kind of applicants you get. There's many resources as far as putting ads out there to attract new candidates, to attract professionals, and you can kind of go one by one and see how that goes. All right. Another thing that in my experience that I've dealt with, and maybe some people will agree or not agree, is honestly, I try to avoid superstars. Okay, the superstar barbers who, and what I mean by superstars is, be humble. Okay, be humble, do good work, and be easy to work with. After all, it's going to be more than a handful of people working in any given shop. Okay, so you don't want to come in with a chip on your shoulder. You don't want people coming in that are toxic or negative and always going to be kind of stepping on other people to get ahead. And the reason I can say that is I used to be that guy. Until I had to get humbled. Okay, and when I went through my humbling process, man, it was tough. It was tough. But that being said, I know that, you know, being that selfish, kind of greedy, backstabby type of person is number one, not what you want to be, but number two, you don't want to open the door wide open to kind of invite that in and that be a thorn in your flesh, so to speak, and that be a problem for you as a manager or an owner that now you're going to have to constantly put out fires, okay? So, nothing against you superstars. You do your thing, but you go do your own thing. And, you know, it would be wise to, you know, look for somebody who's humble, who has some experience, and that you can work with their skill level to help get them to the next level. Okay. I always say this. I'm really just looking for somebody who's easy to talk to, somebody who's going to be consistent with showing up, working the agreed upon schedule, and also somebody who does the basics well. If you can do the basics well, we could train one-on-one and we can sharpen those skills, whether it be straight razor skills, whether it be customer service skills, consultation skills, shear work, clipper work, whatever it may be. You can kind of take them by the hand and train them up and have a valuable asset to your team. Okay. So, but God bless the superstars. You know, they can help you. They can help you get better. And if they do have that chip, it's probably because it's earned. You know, they're good at what they do, and sometimes it's just a high level of confidence. And I do appreciate that. You know, a lot of times the customers can tell if somebody's kind of, you know, nervous or not fully confident in their skills or their trade. And so we can definitely pull good things from the superstar mindset, right? I knew a barber one time. He used to say, when people walk in, I want them to see that I'm a magnet, you know. I'm that magnet, you know what I mean? And he would say silly stuff like, man, I just give them a little piece of that rock and they'll keep coming back. Weird street analogies, but hilarious. But either way, I appreciate wherever anybody's at, right? I'm just saying, me personally, let me get a good, solid person, good at the basics, and I can train you how to be excellent, all right? Now, moving on to this next category, I like to call them corporate cutters, all right? Corporate cutters are basically those licensed cosmetologies and licensed barbers, usually cosmetologists though, that they work in the chain shops, right? They work in your Great Clips and Supercuts and Sports Clips and all these franchise places, right? And usually, thankfully for me, been able to pull some top talent from some of these places where they end up looking for the next level of what they're doing, and they would reach out to us, and we could have a good interview. And basically, these have over the years been a very good asset. And these type of candidates usually are pretty good at all skill levels, at all the different things when it comes to cutting hair and being a barber. And usually there's minimal training that needs to be done. What I like to teach these type of candidates basically is how to slow down the service and to work on the polishing and finishing work, right? When people come into a locally owned barbershop, for the most part, they're going there because they know they're going to get a higher quality of service. And I always like to push, hey, slow it down a little bit, butter them up, make them feel good, make them look good, but also give them a nice polish finish product, right? So if that means, you know, getting crispier edge up and doing a nice straight razor shave on the back with a hot towel and throwing a little bit of product in there so they can see how the finished look, you know, the finished look is going to come together, then do those couple 1, 2, or 3 or 4 or 5 things, whatever it is, you know, whatever it is that you do that sets you apart from the chop shops, from the chain shops, from the rush cuts. All right. So that this for me is probably my favorite category is pulling some talent from the corporate cutters, right? Those tend to be a great opportunity because not only do you get a good worker, you get somebody you can help them put a lot more money in their pocket. You can bring them in and give them the opportunity to make double or triple what they were making in the corporate cut place. Usually those places pay hourly, and you're doing a ton of cuts, but the corporate giant is getting rich while you're there slaving till 8 o'clock at night, going home with peanuts. But something to look at for you shop owners, you managers out there. Try to make connections with some of the standouts at some of these corporate haircut places. There's hidden gems in there, so that's definitely been an asset to our crew and our team. Now, the last category I want to talk about is something that I've kind of maybe the last 2 or 3 years have been more open to, especially since depending on your state, some of the rules and laws have changed when it comes to barber schools and the hours and how the students can get these hours. Okay, it's been available recently where now students can go to a licensed barbershop and be supervised under a master barber who's been licensed for at least 10 years. And basically what that does is it allows them to work under you to get the rest of their hours. They can cut hair, they can make a little bit of money, make some tips, and you can train them up your way. And if they're committed, they can eventually kind of integrate into your team, into your organization, and be a high value asset to your team, because now you've kind of trained them up from scratch, right? It's a little sacrifice, it's a little bit of time, but you training them up from scratch basically means that you can teach them your way of doing things and eliminate all the bad habits that people tend to pick up as they go, a few years here and a few years there, and kind of get away with stuff. You can kind of, train them on a clean slate where you don't have to fix all these bad habits. And I'll make another video talking about all the bad habits of barber culture and the barber industry as a whole that I've worked very hard to try to eliminate, right? And all this is for the purpose of high customer satisfaction, clientele, repeat clientele coming back for years and years and years, and also just setting that expectation of, hey, this brand is quality. We're not going to get rushed. We're not. Nobody's going to cut corners. We're going to leave with a good polished haircut consistently every time, and that's the name of the game: consistency, quality, and doing the basics well. You do that, recipe for success, and just treating people good. Treating people good. They're going to want to come back. They're going to spread the word. They're going to tell people, and next thing you know, you're booked. You're booked. You're full. You got to try to squeeze them all in because there's not enough time in the day to get them all in. So I'm saying all this to help aspiring, owners and managers out there who maybe have been in the industry for a while, or maybe you already own shops, and maybe one thing I say helps you out and continues to encourage you. Like I said before, I'm no expert, but I have a lot of experience, a lot of different scenarios that I've been able to kind of navigate and overcome over the years. So going back to the apprentice route, I would highly recommend that when it comes to apprentices, that choose wisely, right? Just like hiring friends and testing the marketplace to see, who's available, who you can interview. Be picky, because you're going to spend a lot of time with this apprentice, and you're going to have to coach them through new skills. You're going to have to coach them through, just hanging in there, and every step of the way, you're basically taking them by the hand and showing them the game. You're showing them how, how doing a service works, how customer service works, and every technical aspect, every step, right? I like to teach something that's called no-nonsense barbering. And basically, what that means is if you watch, if you go to any given shop or any given place and you kind of watch everybody cut hair, sometimes you'll see where people tend to do a bunch of unnecessary steps, a bunch of unnecessary things that basically make them take too long, that drags out the service, that doesn't necessarily equal a crisp finished product. I've developed a way where I can help get somebody with no experience or low experience to understand the basics in a relatively short amount of time and help them get from, from A to Z with the minimal amount of steps as possible. But each step counts, and each step will get to a exceptional finished product. So choose wisely with the apprentice opportunities, but there are good, hungry people coming up who will be more than willing to put in the long hours to eventually get their license, but they can do it under your umbrella, and you have an opportunity as an owner manager to get them under your wing, build them up, and also, give them an opportunity to work for you, to work in your organization, in your business for the long haul. So if that opportunity comes up to teach an apprentice, make sure you do it with the mindset of, hey, this is not just for the rest of your school hours, but I'm looking long term, like, hey, you could come and work for us, and this could be a good home for you to launch your career for the next few years. And definitely will be an asset to you as the teacher, instructor, and the owner. And you're investing not just in them, but you're investing in yourself, because now you have a high value asset to your team who you've trained from scratch. And they're going to appreciate that. If you chose wisely, they'll appreciate it. They'll stick with you, and they'll want to continue to build with you. And it could be a very, very good thing. So we're talking about building a team. So I hope some of these different approaches, these different categories, can be helpful to you. And if you have any thoughts or comments or questions, just put it down below. Subscribe, share, and hopefully we could tackle some more of these different topics. Like I said, my goal is to just kind of go through and share the knowledge and experience that I've been able to acquire, these last few years. So have a great day. We'll catch you on the next one.